All right, here we are again for another ink day, and today it is Monteverde's Yosemite Green, a really nice, vibrant green. Let's start with the Rhodia paper, which is where I will also do the water test, the swatch, and the dry time. And first, we will look at this glass dip pen's writing, and I use that for ink samples. It just gives me a consistent standard across the board. It writes pretty wet and is really, to me, classified as a broad. A little bit of a wetness test here just to show you kind of what I'm talking about. And then I used the Platinum Prefonte with a medium nib. Love this medium nib, one of the best bargains on the market. And of course, it's behaved very well. Let me just say that between the good behavior of this ink so far and of course the reliability of Platinum and their anti-dry out slip and seal thing, this pen, I can leave this inked up for ridiculous periods of time. Never a hard start, never a dry out, absolutely perfect performance. I've had this ink in this pen consistently for a year and have never, ever had an issue of any kind whatsoever. So that is partly the ink and partly the pen, just a great combination. There you can see a little bit of a writing sample. Behaves well. There is a little bit in that glass dip pen, which just tells you about ink volume, a bit of bleed through, but everywhere that I used the Platinum medium, which is, as you could see, a decently wet writer, there's no bleed through. The only other thing you see is where you have intersections. When I was making the water test grid here, you can see a point here and a point there, and that is pretty normal for most inks, even among the most well-behaved. So I would consider that good performance. Again, that dip pen was really quite wet. Another sample would be on older Tomoe River paper. This is a Lock Me notebook, and you will notice the ink performed very nicely here. Very good shading. This is 1, 2, and 3 layers of an ink swatch. You can see what you get with an increase there, and it all looks quite good. Now there's a little bit of mess up here, a little bit of smearing, and that was because James was being a little bit sloppy today. And you will see that on Tomoe River paper, you do get here at the edge of that third layer, a little bit here, a little bit here. You can even get on the right paper just a touch of sheen, but it's not a major characteristic of the ink, and you don't get it on most paper, just where it was quite wet and on this paper. No issues on the other side. Little bit on that third level of the ink swatch, but that's getting really, really wet. So well behaved out of that Platinum pen. And here on Ayush paper as well. This is small writing, but you will notice that it behaved well. You still get a bit of that shading. You can see that is, for Platinum, quite a broad medium. No issues on the other side of the paper at all. And if you saw my previous review of the Guangzhou ink, you know that here on the Vietnamese composition notebook from Staples, it also performed quite well. And that's a testament to both the ink and the paper, because for cheap paper, this generally does perform very well. So I don't really see any, maybe just the slightest bit of feathering right there, but it's not over here or over there. You kind of have a rough edge there, but no feathering. And no bleed through either, so that performed well. All right, let's get out the old cotton swab and do a quick swatch. Cheap enough, I gotta reuse the other end here, right? There's our first pass. Pass number 2. I'm gonna be a little loose with the paper there. And then a good wet third pass. Now here again, you're going to get that come through on that third wet pass, I'm sure, just a little bit. Most inks will. But you can see here that as the ink gets wetter, that you're going to have some nice shading with the ink. It really is a good, vibrant green, and I like the color of this. If you compare it, for example, to the Monteverde Crocodile, which I recently reviewed, or Pelican Dark Green, you can see that this is a lighter green compared to the Crocodile and much more vibrant, and it makes the Pelican Dunkelgrün look a little bit almost teal or blue-green by comparison. So this is very much a yellower green than the Pelican. Who's ready for a little time test? Again, courtesy of the old Casio. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Oh, that's almost dry. Let's try this again. 20 seconds. So within 20 seconds out of this pen, that ink was dry. All right, and here is the chromatography of the day, and it is a simple one. Very, very vibrant blue. They're showing its face at the top, followed by that very bright yellow. So it makes sense that this is a really bright green because the base blue and the base yellow they used are quite well saturated and bright. All right, I think we all know we want the water test next. If you sign your life away with this pen, will it take? All right, I put a lot of water on that, didn't I? Well, California's been getting a lot of water lately. That makes sense. Swab that up, a lot of ink on that paper towel. And, I can read that says water. I can read that says test. It's pretty risky, okay? I wouldn't count on this as being water fast, but you might be able to salvage, if it is a short exposure, what it is that you had written there. So, not water fast, but possibly savable. All right, let's talk pros and cons. Pros. Their inks are generally well behaved in my experience, and I have several Monteverde inks that I do really like. They do, by the way, I'm going to put this on the pros, they do wash off easily. You get a little bit of lava soap, and this stuff comes right off, as you saw in the water test. So con, not really water fast. Pro, really nice shade of ink with some character. It does, in a wet pen, offer some good shade variation, and I like that. It's reliable ink, and it's just a kind of a fun green ink to have around. So if this looks like a shade for you, you may want to check that out. So what do you think? Is this a green that interests you? Is there a green that you like better? Because you know that I always am looking at different shades of green ink. Thank you again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and God bless you, and I hope you have a great week.